So-called comedian Isaac Butterfield is at it again, bashing those who are against the causing of unnecessary suffering. He likes to try and cause ill feeling in vegans by making fun of animal suffering and killing. I bet his mum is really proud to have raised such an ignorant, obnoxious excuse for a human being.
I think I've actually gotten a little bit more mature.
I bet you haven't.
These mother are completely.
Pigs are only 6 months old when they're forced into a carbon dioxide gas chamber where they suffocate to death.
See what I mean? Completely. They remain the biggest quits to walk of the earth.
That young lady is awesome, risking ridicule and attack in defence of those that can't stand up for themselves. While you are not worth the off the bottom of my shoe. Why don't you try and do something positive with your life instead of just trying to tear others down? You wouldn't have the balls, that's why. All you can do is go along with the crowd and take the for a cheap laugh. That's if anybody actually finds you funny. By the way, you just called somebody a quit when they were speaking the truth. 6-week-old piglets like this one are forced into gas chambers. When the carbon dioxide comes into contact with the moisture inside the animal's lungs, it forms carbolic acid and they burn from the inside out. They thrash around fighting for their lives for an extended time in extreme agony, suffocating to death.
And ladies and gentlemen, I've got some fantastic evidence to back that up today. And let's start off by having a look at this dude. Chunks of corpse. Huge chunks of corpse. Also with blood. Okay, that's the thing. Someone's body parts. Minced body parts. Oh, the little darling can't handle being at the supermarket.
Oh, you're such a big, brave guy, Isaac. You can look at neatly wrapped, cleaned flesh that bears no resemblance to the corpse that it was once part of. Are you brave enough to see with your own eyes how it got there, though? To watch the animals screaming for their lives. Come on, Isaac, show us how tough you really are. Or can't you handle it? Go inside the slaughterhouse and film your reaction for your audience to see. Or are you more of a wimp than the guy that you're ridiculing?
Someone's belly, a pig's belly, okay. Someone's shoulder, okay. Lamb bones, baby bones. One of the big issues with vegans is they go through this weird thought process where they treat animals as humans.
The f*** are you talking about? How was he treating animals as humans? He just named their body parts and pointed out that a lamb is a baby sheep. And why is that such a big issue for you? A big issue is something like, I don't know, unnecessary killing. You're just talking nonsense about semantics, you snowflake.
A lot of animals happen to be food.
I've decided that I'm a cannibal now. You are food to me. You're either okay with this or you're a hypocrite. Which is it, numbnuts? And when would you like to come over for dinner?
But I also treat animals with respect. I rescue dogs. I also saw a snail on the footpath the other day. I picked the snail up and put him in the garden.
Nice bit of virtue signal in there. Say, for instance, that someone only murders white people, but they're kind to black people. Does that make the murders okay? Try again, you bellend.
I've seen countless videos of even animals like cows eating small rats. Animals love to eat meat. That is just the way of the world.
Animals rape and kill each other too. Do you think animals are a good place to get our ethics from?
Unfortunately, factory farming is still a thing. I don't like factory farming. I think that is very cruel.
Why do you buy into it then? Do you enjoy being a horrible, cruel person?
But what else do we do in this situation?
Oh, I don't know. Eat a healthy diet of legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, herbs and spices. Minimising animal suffering, maximising our health and the planet. Anyone with half a brain might pick that option. Have you got at least half a brain, Isaac? I'm not too sure.
Now that we have all that bullshit out of the way, it's time to check in with one of our favourite vegan/Instagram thoughts, Vegan Booty. But before we do, today's sponsor, this video is brought to you by the great people at Original Beef Chief Jerky. Ladies and gentlemen, the Original Beef Chief is back again.
Okay, so not only do you pay for animals to be tortured on factory farms so you can enjoy the taste of their dead bodies for a couple of minutes, you also profit off of it as well. Just when I thought you couldn't be any less ethical.
Pigs are as intelligent as a 3-year-old child, and we're forcing them into carbon dioxide gas chambers.
3-year-old? 3-year-old dumb. Why would you compare anything to a 3-year-old?
I'm surprised you're too thick to work that out. Let me spell it out for you. Many people use the justification of intelligence to treat animals badly. If intelligence is the marker by which we determine who deserves to live, then by your reckoning, a 3-year-old child deserves to be killed because they're not as intelligent as the pig. Was that okay for you, Isaac? Did I go slow enough for you? Next in the video, Isaac pokes fun at the factory farms, which he called cruel earlier on.
Are you looking for something fun and amazing to do this summer? Do you want to go to a place full of fun where all your friends are just hanging out, not socially distanced at all? Why don't you come along? You don't want to be the black sheep in the family. Got little ones? Don't worry, we also have a free daycare service.
Finally, something we can agree on. And you do realise that the vast majority of emerging infectious diseases are because of farms like this. Are you really in that much of a rush for the next COVID or swine flu pandemic?
The meat, dairy and egg industries are based off the exploitation of females' reproductive systems.
That's it? Cow's milk is What a video, Tash. You should be ashamed of yourself. Absolutely ashamed of yourself. That cow would not exist unless it was being farmed for its milk.
Oh, don't worry, Isaac. She won't exist for very long. She'll live a tiny fraction of her life before being murdered for meat because she can't produce milk fast enough for the farmer's liking. She'll also go through the anguish of having her babies taken from her, grieving for weeks on end. Her male babies will be shot in the head because of people like you.
Now, what would you prefer? A life where you didn't exist, or a life where you existed out in the pastures, having a great old time?
The vast majority of cows are shut in warehouses their entire lives. I'm sure that were it possible to give these mothers the choice, they would pick not existing over a life of pain, exploitation, child abduction, and being shot in the head at 5 years old.
And then having to get a little bit of a squeeze every now and then, a little bit of a milk. Little milking.
At any given time, 1/3 of dairy cows are suffering with infected teats. Mastitis makes milking excruciatingly painful for them. And guess where all the pus cells end up? Got milk? Not lightly, mate.
Bit of a milking, Tash. What would you prefer?
What would you prefer, Isaac? A farmer shoulder deep with his arm up your anus, like they do to cows? Or stop taking the piss out of the suffering of others?
Oh, I love pissing vegans off. You know why I love it more than anything?
Because you're of incredibly low intelligence.
For the next merch drop, which includes this amazing piece of merchandise back on the shelves, I think I'm going to release 100% ethically raised Butterfield cheese. Smegma.
Hilarious, Isaac. If your audience happens to be 5-year-olds, grow up for f***'s sake. Now click this.